Today, I've got a chocolate chip cookie cake for you. Of course, this recipe is inspired by a chocolate chip cookie, so it has notes of butterscotch from the vanilla, brown sugar, and browned butter. Hello, I'm Rox. If you're new here, my passion is helping you make sweet treats. Because adults need cute things too. Let's get started with the brown butter. Browning butter is easy, it just takes a watchful eye. Just start melting your butter on low-medium heat, swirling the pan from time to time. The reason why I love to add a browned butter to my cake is that it adds that butterscotchy, caramelized flavor to it, the kind you get from a really good cookie. I don't go too high on the heat because I'm going for brown, not burnt. And basically in this process, we're cooking out the water. You'll see the butter start to foam. At that point, keep stirring the butter until it goes from yellow to tan to golden brown. Are you starting to hear that crackling noise from when you're browning your butter? That's okay. This is because we're cooking out the water. This is when I whisk in the heavy cream. Basically, what we're doing here is adding moisture back into the butter because that's what we need for a tasty cake. And for this recipe, to space out the process, you can make this browned butter in advance, chill it, then let it get to room temperature the day of before adding it to your batter. Let it get to room temperature. Recipe on my blog. And now it's batter time. I have all the dry ingredients here. I'm gonna prep it first and set it aside. By the way, you can absolutely make this gluten-free with a 1-to-1 gluten-free flour. Then I add baking powder, baking soda, salt, cinnamon. This amount isn't overpowering, but helps bring out the chocolate flavors. The next part's pretty traditional. Adding the sugar to the fat, adding the eggs, adding the dry ingredients, and lastly, adding the chocolate and cookies. Add browned butter. This browned butter is so nice and creamy and smells so good. I try to use every bit of it. Here's my white granulated sugar. By the way, all of the measurements are always on my blog. I do this because if I learn something or can make the recipe better, it's possible to change it in the blog, but not retroactively in the video. Add dark brown sugar. Light brown sugar works great too. I just love that molasses flavor, so I use dark. Add a paddle attachment to your mixer. I mix for about 5 minutes and it almost doubles in size. Occasionally scrape down the sides. Here's the mixture looking so fluffy. Add the eggs one at a time. Here's one egg. On low speed for 20 seconds until the egg is incorporated and emulsified. Egg 2. And add the extract with the last egg. Grab your wet and sifted dry ingredients. Add 1/3 of your dry mixture to the batter and mix until just incorporated, like 90% there. Add half your liquid and then mix again until just incorporated, like 90% there. Another 1/3 of the dry, the rest of the liquid, and end on the dry. If your batter curdles, there's a good chance your ingredients might not be at room temperature. At this point, I remove a bowl from the mixer and finish mixing the rest by hand. I do this so the batter isn't overmixed. No one really likes a dry batter. I add chocolate chips and like to add cookies. Recently, I actually made chocolate chip cookies live, but these were all eaten, so I picked up some Chips Ahoy. I break up the cookies. I hold until just incorporated. And mix, mix, mix. You might be wondering, why does she use a baked cookie instead of cookie dough? The answer is, you can, but it incorporates into the batter as you cook it. Anyways, this is when I would preheat my oven to 335 degrees Fahrenheit, 168 degrees Celsius. Did I get that right? Yes. Distribute batter into lined cake pans. This recipe works super great for 3 6-inch cakes or 4 5-inch cakes. I use an angled spatula to evenly distribute. And of course, add more chocolate chips if you love all the chocolate. I find it best not to grease the sides so that the cake has something to latch onto and climb up as it's baking. I love a tall and fluffy cake. Then bang to release any extra large air bubbles and to help fill in the edges. Bake for 28 to 30 minutes, or use a toothpick to see if the baking is complete. There should be about 5 crumbs. Let the cake cool completely. After the cake is cold, it's time to decorate. And this isn't that type of video. But if you want inspiration, I'll have a new Cookie Monster cake decorating video that I will link below. Here's 2 more Cookie Monster ideas. Cookie Monster cupcakes, low-key Cookie Monster sheet cake decorating. OMG, chocolate chip cookie cake success. Success. These were still warm. If you're not planning on using these today, wrap them up and freeze them until you're ready. Keeps the cake moist and further develop the flavor. Okay, if you took anything away from this video, subscribe please. Ba-ding! Thank you so much for helping me hit 1,900 subscribers. 1,900. Thanks so much for watching. See you soon. Basically, crazy. I do a live video every Thursday at 5:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Come join me, it's a baking video. Yes.